But they have to let
We're rolling.
We're rolling.
Apparently we're rolling.
Rolling.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Globebusters meets Music Guru.
So I'm going to text somebody. Let me know if we're on. Yeah, it's on the Hangout zone. There's a bit of a gaze over Alex's right shoulder.
I beg your pardon? Okay. I thought that was you.
Okay,
But,
is it possible that you just say, can you see everybody? Because maybe it's a bit blurred on the screen.
maybe we should start. Oh, it's a bit dark now.
Now it's dark.
Over on Mike's face, I can
dark.
barely see him.
Yeah.
It's still a bit blurred
So
actually.
can't we move the lights so that they're in front of
dark
us, near the camera? We're going to be facing us.
Yeah.
Just a thought. Just a thought. We should do that Tracy Chapman. Oh, that was good.
Just some technical difficulties.
We'll,
Nothing.
there is a house. That's also one of those good songs. Isn't it? House in New Orleans. The Rising Sun.
Yeah, it's from.
Okay, can you hear us, Amanda? Can you say hello if you hear us? Hi. Can you hear us? Hi. Can you hear the sound okay through the camera?
That's an improvement. Let me move this other one as well.
I don't think you'll need the other one on. We can turn the other one off.
You think it's really not that much light, to be honest?
Check it. Check yourself. Check yourself.
Howard, the reason why that was there was because of the
that's
plug. It needs to stay. We have to keep an eye on the energy. Mertek, how you doing? Can you hear me, Mertek? Say something.
Let's just
Thank
run
you.
it.
Yeah,
Don't worry about the battery because it won't work from there. That was out. Move it.
Well, okay.
We just run it till it runs.
Well, we'll see about that then, won't we?
Ain't nothing but a flat earth, globe total balls. Ain't nothing but a flat earth, globe is
So you guys were doing, I didn't want to interrupt your Elvis there,
Oh,
sorry.
never mind. Yeah, that's for Ronald out at Speaker's Corner. He's an old guy who's like 85 years old and thinks the second coming of Christ. And he's out there all the time singing all this number. Ronald.
I'm out the shop. Now I'm in the shop, I'm out the shop. There we go, that's perfect.
I know. Okay.
Okay,
So we've got some special guests tonight. Terrible lighting, but very special guests. See if we can just improve it a little bit more. We've got Alex, the conspiracy music guru.
That'll do. That's correct, yeah. That's me. Hello. Hello, darkness, my friend.
Alex has come to sing with us again.
That needs to be closer, doesn't it, dude?
It's just we're getting a lot of reflection.
Mike, wear a hat. What about refraction?
Refraction?
It's superior mirage. We're not really here, we're around the corner.
There's even lights up here that you got the people.
Yeah, what's all that?
What's this? Yeah.
That with that up.
That other one from another one.
Let's get some disco ball action going in there.
Where's the laser?
Why aren't you using those, Howard?
Where's the laser from?
Don't blame it on the sunshine. Blame it on the spotlight.
Blame it on moving.
Blame it on the Globie.
Wow, we're in Spain.
We are in Spain.
We're in Spain and
In all its glory.
Spain in the Mediterranean.
Mike and Alex have come to join us for some times. Yeah, it's been a change of scenery. Very much.
There you go, a bit better. Bring that closer up.
Yeah, bring that closer.
Stop pointing. Can anyone see the screen?
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the feed.
How does it look?
Better?
Great. How about that?
That's better.
That's better.
Na, 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 na,
Are we doing the Tavistock rounds now? No, ever since I heard about that, I thought, oh no, not the Beatles as well.
All of them do. All of them.
man,
All of them.
Beatles,
bad, isn't it?
Beatles
No more
above,
heroes, mate.
Beatles above all.
Yeah, this is what's upsetting.
Yeah.
I used to love
It was
them.
all alive. That music was there to, it's culture creation, isn't it?
We
Such a
are who we
programming.
are because they want us to be.
Very evil, the music industry. Very, very evil. Music industry.
Yeah, apparently so. Apparently there's a lot of signage going on in the music industry as well. Things like, symbology and stuff like that, I've heard.
Really?
Is there something to that?
Illuminati symbology.
No, it's all in your imagination.
It's all in your
so-
imagination.
Do you guys, what do you think of this idea? Like I say to people sometimes, I get this in my head, that where they show us the Illuminati symbology of the pyramid with the missing capstone, that actually, is it us that they've misplaced or taken off the top? Are we meant to be the capstone of the pyramid?
Or is it the removal of God?
Yeah.
There's another one.
The disconnection
Yeah,
from
of
the
the
divine.
They're always trying to convince everybody that he doesn't exist. Maybe that's quite
The
simple.
removal of the top of the pyramid.
Yeah.
Because, I think sometimes, like, if there is a pyramid to this entire meta system, that we're perhaps at the bottom, in this human condition, we're at the bottom of that pyramid, and ascension means moving up to the top, but they want to remove that top.
Yeah, that's nice.
Or change good for evil.
Yeah.
There's probably several different things that means.
Yeah.
Just like there's always multiple meanings to, like the G in the Freemasonic symbol.
Yeah.
That probably means a bunch of different. I bet one of them's gravity.
Gravity's
Like,
got
I
to
bet
be in
you.
there.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's a kind of magic. By the way, have we introduced my mate Mike?
Oh no, we haven't.
How rude of us.
Okay, what do we do? What to do?
I think we should pass it over to Mike. Can you just present yourself and...
Present yourself.
And Mike.
Don't do that again. Remember the trouble we got in when you presented yourself to that woman?
Don't do that anymore.
So I see on the screen there's like
Present
5
in
of us
what
crushed
way?
on this
No,
side,
just
and that's Mike and
Tell,
Alex.
tell everyone your profession and also your hobby.
My profession.
Your profession.
I'm a chiropractor, and my hobby is exploring ancient titans and studying the stones, among other things. I have a YouTube channel called Stellium7.
And he speaks very, very lightly like this, and it's very hypnotizing. It's great information. He's got that narrated voice. You could really do an audiobook.
Yeah, there's some really exciting stuff on the channel, so I recommend checking it out, Serial 7.
Definitely.
Totally. It changed my the way I look at the landscape. Let's put it that way.
Keep an open mind.
Yeah.
What were you saying about geology?
You mean biology?
Yeah. That was it. Geology.
Or is it geobiology?
Geobiology.
Or is it biogeology?
Geology was biology.
It's all words, isn't it?
Yeah.
The idea that the rocks once were living in some different form, perhaps, and were moving.
I think, yeah. Much of what we've been told about the origin of geology is
And the nature of
partial
this,
truths.
yeah, and the nature of this realm, the nature of this thing upon which we walk, we really don't know. And I suggest to people that when we have tides, this is the earth breathing in and out twice a day, perhaps. That there are other things happening that are simply the pulsing or the life engines of this entity that we call Earth. That is obviously so much bigger, but that we're somehow within it and somehow contributing to it. The rivers and oceans we see are perhaps just part of this massive meta entity. Just another one of those theories.
It's nice.
Well, you don't believe we're on a spinning ball, is that what you're saying?
Well, from all my experimentation, I have to confess that I have been unable to prove that I live on a spinning ball.
That's strange, because I heard we are, though, which is a bit
You
weird.
may have heard it.
I heard that.
You heard that as well,
I heard that
Alex?
as well. Yeah.
Mm.
It started at school like a rumour.
Strange one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But but a lot of grown-ups still believe it, though, don't they? So it's not
It's not their fault, though. It's not their fault.
No.
They've got all that Disney programming to contend with.
Yeah, and the cinema trips and stuff.
Well, and everyone's been to Mars in their mind.
Well, yeah.
This rocky thing that nowhere could it reflect sunlight and become this twinkling orb, this twinkling light, this show that we see in the sky.
Just round the corner,
Looks
like
a
a few
lot
miles
like
away. Yeah.
Greenland, I believe.
Greenland.
That's the true Mars, yeah.
Yeah.
It is in many,
Yeah.
many ways.
Yeah, we go to Devon Island with our robot cars, and we convince you we got a rover on Mars.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. The one that they neatly packed into their space capsule when they went up there.
Mm.
It's been a really nice foldable sort of space buggy that they were driving in. You know, I suppose you could fit the wheels under the bed when you were in there.
Is it true that Elon Musk's Roadster is going to be landing on Mars soon?
Well, I heard it's making an appearance in the next Formula One race, which is, well, I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
I heard that you can buy an app or a piece of software or something that's $40, and you can track the Tesla.
You're kidding me.
And it will show you the exact position. So you're paying $40 for a blip on the screen. It's
Yeah.
either an app or a piece of or something like that. I don't know where I heard that, but you might want to look at that. Is that
Actually,
true? Yeah.
You're paying $40
Yeah.
to be entered into a database of the most gullible people in the world.
Well, there you go. Maybe it is something like that. Yeah.
Money for
Reminds me of
nothing.
that game when you had to feed your dog. Remember?
Oh, Tamagotchi.
Yeah.
I remember that. Remember that?
Yeah.
Tamagotchi?
Well, at least you had a say in that game, you know. Now you're just being played as a...
I never played. Did you play that? Did you play Tamagotchi? So it's strange if you did.
No, I just remember people got really emotional about it. And...
Oh, you're talking in the third person. If you didn't really. Ah, that
See
old
what I
shit.
said?
What do you think of Elon? Do you think Elon Musk is a useful idiot? Do you think he's an actor? Do you think he's an MK Ultra victim? What do you think? What do you stand on that?
It's a hard one now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure on that one.
It's difficult, isn't it? When you're
Yeah.
saying things like you can tell it's real because it looks so fake, and you're like, who would say if you're fake? Why would you say it's just
Yeah.
you
But,
know?
have you noticed that you can't finish a sentence
It
with...
comes across
without
as
the
an absolute
pausing?
idiot. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, there's no doubt that he's a kind of an agent in place. For me, you know, he was never the PayPal guy and stuff like that. And you know, as a South African, I would have known of this guy for sure. I would have known him along the way. So for me, he was created, and the entirety of the using Tesla's name and the entirety of bringing this new tech car and all this sort of
Von
stuff,
Braun's book.
that's all been sponsored from the back room. That's where some of the NASA money goes, is to pay for these kinds of projects, I expect, and bring them to life. And then bring this character to life, who, I favour MK Ultra, but I think he knows that he's not firing rockets, because he talks about how he's in development talks and, bringing this new piece of tech. He's never seen this shit work. I mean, this idea that a rocket is going to reverse, land onto a landing pad and then make it like a moving barge. They're really taking the piss with people, and going, how stupid can people get? That you saw how long it took for the Harrier jump jet for them to teach themselves how to land that jet with. It's got 4 stabilizers and stuff like that, and even then the pilots really take all the skills and stuff. Now you got to land a pencil upside down like this, and no,
Ridiculous.
This is
And
the high
unfortunately, the camera always fails as it's going to land on the barge. So.
Yeah, so he knows, he absolutely knows that he's selling, snake oil, for sure.
He's not very good at it. Saying things like, it's just a regular car
Well,
in space, and I love the absurdity of that.
This is
Call him out on that. He's not very good
I,
at it.
I think that is something that we've got to start looking at. The way that we're being hypnotised as a society is through satire and sarcasm.
Yeah.
By putting it in your face, the truth in plain sight,
Yeah. Because
You
no one will
are
ever believe that could be
hypnotised.
possible.
that you
Exactly.
can't be being fooled
Yeah.
because you're too... They make us proud by giving us all these things that give us attention and likes, and they build on that. So there's this fake pride that we have that really is an illusion, because it's not it's a virtual reality to start off with. And if people were really that in touch with you, they'd be in your real world. So it's building on this pride and telling us that all the ancients were primitive. So everywhere you look, we're being blown up to be so certain and sure of everything, and really it's there in your face, and that's why you can't swallow it.
And that's why you can't see it.
Yeah.
That's wizardry. That's
It
what that
is, it's wizardry, it's hypnotism, it's mind control, it's all the same thing, and they've got so many ways of doing it to us, as you know, through the music, obviously. See, if you didn't realise already from the voice and the look, the album was called The Flat Earth Guy, and he's got some Flat Earth Man, and you've got some great content out there. So please do check it out if you haven't already. I'm sure you do know him already. And yeah, music. You've got a new album, 432.
Yeah, I've sort of started to discover how powerful music really is. I mean, I've been a frustrated musician for so many years, playing in the pubs and the bars and the clubs, playing to no audience and blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, I had my Flat Earth Awakening, and then that gave me this great creative spurt, and I wrote the Flat Earth Man album and produced all the videos in like a year. And then I started to see the power of that music and how it was resonating with people and waking other people up and helping, mothers to teach their kids about the reality that they're through my music, which is amazing. And on my awakening, my journey, I discovered the manipulation of our frequency of music, the 432 versus 440 hertz conspiracy, which I urge everybody to look up. And yeah, oh, it's real. Yeah, our music has been was changed. The frequency of our music was changed. I'll give you a brief rundown. The middle A on a keyboard is tuned these days to 440 hertz. 50, 60, probably around 70 years ago, it was 432 hertz. And so there was a definite change in 1955, and you've got to ask yourself why. It goes a lot deeper than that, but I would encourage people to look at that. And when I found this out, I started making music at 432 hertz. It really resonated with me, started giving me more goosebumps. I started looking into the solfeggio healing frequencies and made an album based around these particular healing frequencies that we're being robbed of today. And I put it out there as my own kind of scientific experiment, made it musically, beautiful, I think. And the feedback I've been getting is one of like amazement. And people are saying that I played it and I cried. A friend of mine she gave birth to her daughter playing one of the songs. She loved it that much. And I sent it to Bob at Globebusters. He was emotionally moved by one of the tracks. His wife heard one of the tracks. She burst into tears from listening to it. And I'm getting this feedback from everybody. This is amazing because it's the frequency that it should be in.
Doesn't cymatics also prove that in like a visual observation?
Yeah, it is interesting that the 440 hertz cymatically produces a less coherent shape than the 432 hertz would. It's a lot clearer now. If you to think on a biological scale, on a cellular level, maybe that's happening to us. And if that is the case, then I want my cellular patterns to be nice and beautiful like snowflakes. That's what music's doing.
We don't want a distorted worldview, do we?
No, and it's to the point now where I understand it. I won't listen to 440 hertz music. I'll always release it. This is always tuned to 432. I've got my tuner around. I believe in it that strongly. I really would love to have somebody invent a 432 converter for a television. So when I'm sitting there watching YouTube and the commercial comes on, which are always in 440, my little converter that someone hopefully will invent me, will convert all the music coming from my television into 432. That's what needs to be invented.
I hear people have been like asking Spotify to make that option.
Yeah, I doubt
for
very
some
much
strange
they won't do
reason
it.
they don't seem to.
Well, here's another funny thing as well. When I'm releasing a new single in a couple of weeks, and that's not how it happened. I wanted to release my old album through another distributor. The moral of the story is I titled this album The Flat Earth Man brackets 432 hertz, and I put that in the title. Flat Earth Man brackets 432. I could let everybody know I'm making my music in 432 hertz. iTunes said no, you can't put that in the title. They will not allow me to put 432 hertz within the title of my album or on the artwork. So how about that? Interesting, isn't it?
That's suspicious, don't you?
That's suspicious, don't you think?
If ever there's a time to say it, it's right there.
But I mean, that's sort of stuff that people don't know or don't talk about.
Yeah.
Even within the community, by the way. I only heard about it recently.
It's a fascinating
Well,
subject.
really?
Fascinating.
Only recently I heard about it. I didn't know about it. I knew about the different things, but I didn't know about
We're being robbed.
Censorship.
I didn't know about the censorship, that's what I was trying to say, the actual...
Right. Yeah, I've just literally found that out a couple of weeks ago. They said, no, I'm sorry, some of our partners, they call them, will not allow you to put the frequency of your music within the title or on the artwork anyway.
I remember when I did the research on it, someone called it the devil's interval.
There you go.
Does that make sense to you?
I've heard of that. There's certain scales that are used within rock music that give a certain emotion, probably one of stress, one of sadness.
Yeah.
You know, like the difference between the major and the minor chord.
Yeah.
The major chord always usually sounds happy, and happy songs are written in major chords. Sad songs are in minor chords.
Right.
For give you an instance, this is a major chord.
I'm so happy that I'm alive, but then my mother died.
Do you know what I mean? That's a major and minor. So that can automatically give you an emotive response when you say I'm happy. But there's certain scales, I believe, certain chord progressions that can also have a manipulating effect on your emotions.
Yeah.
And I think these occult music producers know that. And I think these snappy little choruses that we're getting are, you know, what did you call it? Sonic
Warfare.
Sonic warfare. You know, I think it's a great way to describe it.
I
They're
know.
manipulating us with frequencies, with certain scales, certain chord progressions. It's frightening when you really
Think
get
of it,
into
think
it.
of it also as like
Weaponized music.
yeah, but think of it as oral warfare. So it's like your whole aura is absorbing all the vibrations around you. So yeah, like the aura takes a hit from the
It's like a static in the air that you just don't even perceive when it's not tuned properly.
And it's got to be significant for them to have taken this step. So it's definitely worth looking into.
Yeah, that's what I was, you know, there's so many different manipulations everywhere. There's in food, there's manipulation of our news, our information, everything's manipulated. You're going to think music they haven't tried to manipulate?
Yeah.
Of course,
Money.
because that's what people love. They're going to manipulate. So all I can tell you now, is, rather than going into it, is know that it was changed, the frequency of our music. Go and find out why.
And listen to songs that have been changed to 432 and you will hear the difference.
Well, there's a bit of dependence on that, because when you're, instead of taking a song and then converting it to 432, which is great, and I recommend people do that, but to get it authentically sounding great, you should record it in 432, because you'll get more resonance from the guitar when it's in tune to 432 hertz. So you'll get that more sustained during the recording. So if you can capture an instrument in 432 hertz, like a violin in 4, that will move the shit out of you. When you hear a violin go, yeah, and it resonates, you're like, oh my god, it brings you to tears. It's so beautiful. Yeah, the kids are at risk, definitely.
Music, it might make you feel good at first, maybe, but in the long run, it probably causes depressions and stuff. So people think it makes them happy when they hear it, but it's just a quick fix. It's a
Yeah.
My tuner, I'm going to say.
Brilliant. Do we need to plug in, or have we got plenty of battery?
Yeah, no, we need to plug in as well soon, mate. So we need to put that over and just have it plugged into the wall.
Sure.
We'll do it from another angle, then we've got peace and quiet then. Whoops. They don't mind being moved around in the room.
Okay, you're going to have to give me a hand because the crate holds it up. So if you can move the crate... okay, yeah, sure. Have you got it? Sort of fall over.
I've got it.
Okay, that should do it. Should reach. Let's see how far we can get it actually.
Oh, no, it's the one in the right hand
Oh
thing.
dear, I'm going to lose that. I'll get it back on in a sec. Okay, where's it going? At the bottom, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Right, we're going to get some nice music in a minute. I think everyone will be in there.
Well, if I'm sat here, can you see me?
Yeah, you're in. Let's get that light back on. Let's see. Yeah, that was really lovely.
Cold in here.
Yeah.
If you can close that door.
You got to sit down to play.
Got it. Are you still streaming?
Yeah.
Oh. Is there people watching and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Something like that. Look, they're watching that actually.
Okay.
It's me.
That's you. Oh my goodness. The technology of today, eh? We can watch ourselves watching ourselves watching. Right, mate.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Is there any chance you could sing that song again?
Hopefully, if I'm all right.
Yeah. Because that would have been
way to.
Okay, time for a couple of songs, or a song at least, I think.
Yeah, let's get it cold.
Let's do some push-ups together, some team push-ups or star jumps or something.
Could do.
This one.
If I can remember the words. What I might do, I might give Mike my phone with the lyrics on, and if I get in trouble, he can just go. Astronauts, that's the next one. It's bound to be astronauts.
It's astronauts.
Evil bastards who remind your face.
Yeah. See, it's only Freemasons that get to go to space.
Why do
They're the
they
evil bastards who are lying to your face.
Are they not part of the human race? You gotta wonder why. They speak with double face.
That's a real disgrace.
Oh, no. Jolene, tell me something I don't fucking know. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, man. I mean, if not, too late, innit?
Yeah, true. Past the watershed, isn't it?
You know, when I put a live video or a video up nowadays, when I go live, I have to say whether or not it's for children. Every
Yes,
time.
I'll have to do that. Yeah, you have to go through your entire video list, and you have to do that for every video.
Ah, I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, you should do, yeah, because I don't, if you don't, I think they'll maybe demonetise or.
Well, I'm not monetised,
The all
but-
powerful YouTube will take your toys away if you don't.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you say it's for children, because obviously in theory this is information for everybody. But
Yeah, that's
if
fine.
you carry on like you know, sometimes we do in a hangout or swear or whatever, you know, in the future they'll say, well, you said this was for children, you know, language is deplorable, so we're shutting you out.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, be prepared for that, because they will do it. Yeah, they don't have any excuse, do they, to do that?
Mm.
They're demoting channels that are not monetized as well, aren't they?
Yeah, I've been thinking about monetizing mine simply because it will get, there's an incentive for them to have it encouraged on people's watch list, you know?
Right. It's a double-edged sword. You don't want to.
Mark Sargent.
You don't want to
said-
promote the beast, but at the same time,
Yeah.
nobody's seeing the stuff that you're
Yeah,
producing.
I know. I don't have any sense that there'd be a lot of money involved in it with my view count, but
Right.
it's more about trying to get that, you know, we're doing this to try and get the word out there, you know.
Right, reach more people.
Mm.
That's important.
You know, and our activism is something that we're so keen to try and, you know, encourage people to do. You know, we can't be sure that we're not playing into the system's hands and doing exactly what the system intended for us to do all along. However, it feels like the right thing to be doing and to be in a position to encourage other people to do it in future. This is what we surely must be doing, you know, unless we get noticed that it's like, shit, this is really, we're playing into, you know, we're doing the wrong thing. But for me, it feels like the right thing.
To monitor.
To you know, to alert people
Mm.
rather than to go quietly and just sort of sit in a little YouTube pool of people and talk about
Right.
experiments. You know?
Echo chambers.
Yeah, I mean, we need experiments, but at the same time, you know, we need new people to hear this information. You know, it's great having these experiments, but until loads of people are doing the experiments or verifying them or whatever, then what good? But so, yeah, we need people out there doing the activism, and it's just worth saying, are we live?
Yeah.
It's just worth saying, it's really cool to have you come down
Thanks,
and
man.
give us
That's cool to hang out, man.
a shot in the arm. And, you know, one of the things that Jason and the crew that have been organising this have been struggling with all along is the funding, you know, ensuring that we have sufficient funding to keep us on the road. So if Alex's contribution here today, his time and stuff, is an incentive for you, if you can, to drop a few quid in the kitty, you know, there's the PayPal and Super Chat options, please do that. The tour still needs funding. We haven't got it to, you know, fund it to the end, that's for sure.
I could vouch for that. They look broke as fuck.
Yeah, we're living on a fairly shoestring budget.
Yeah.
That's to be sure. We're not
It's
wasting,
admirable,
we're
is
not
what it is.
wasting contributors' money. I think it's fair to say as much as is possible. So, you know, if you can, you know, throw something towards the tour, then all of the team will be very grateful, and we're grateful for you guys both coming down.
Here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was saying earlier that what these guys do is something I could never do. It's, you know, it's out there on the front line, having to deal with that kind of, I don't know, it can't be frustrated. I would be frustrated out of my mind. I wouldn't know how to articulate myself the way you do, and this is why I prefer the solace and the privacy of my own studio and do my activism that way. Doing what you do on the front line like that is, you know, on a daily basis in the cold and staying in that motorhome, and it must be you're impinging on people's, you know, privacy all the time. You're all like one big, you know, you're so close to each other. You know, someone farts. You know about it.
Oh yeah,
Right?
in many ways.
No, that's that kind of thing. That's
a breath of fresh air.
no, it's not. That sort of stuff would drive me mad. So, it's amazing what you're doing, and
Eating on the road, on the go. You're on the go so much of the time.
Like we said earlier, you're never grounded because you're always on wheels.
Yeah,
Driving
always
around.
on wheels.
You're always on wheels.
no, I couldn't do it, so I hacked it to you.
Thank you.
It
Thank
must
you.
be a lot like what it is like for the astronauts on the ISS.
Well, yeah, but we don't get those fancy harnesses and stuff to float around in.
But we do get plenty of hairspray.
But they can't open a
No.
window.
They can't open a window, no. Nor can they take a photograph of the Earth from upside down, it seems, you know.
Yeah.
Like to get a picture of an aeroplane flying.
Someone say photograph of Earth?
It must be hard without a fourth wall, also.
Oh, yeah.
In space. And where are you going to put all the equipment? You know. Did you ever see
the
the
photographs?
No, I was going to burst into song there, but then I thought,
Yeah.
that's probably a bit rude.
burst into song?
Kick it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I remember all the words to this.
We'll forgive you.
We'll forgive
You
you.
were talking
yeah.
about the photographs of Earth, and I've just so happens I've written a song about it, but I'm going to give Mike the lyrics just in case I go like, shit, what's the next line? Because my songs have got so much lyrics in them and I forget them. There should be a thing that says, I haven't even got the glasses on, so I can't.
While you're looking for that,
This is good viewing, isn't it?
yeah,
Oh,
I'd
it's
just
all
like
right,
to
this is
throw
what
in
happens.
about what we were saying before about activism. All fields of research, like mud floods, like titans, like chemtrails, which I prefer to say, you know, geoengineering, side effects, vaccines, radiation. We need to all join forces because at the end of the day, we're being lied to, we're being manipulated. We need to make sure that we're all together, even if we don't agree with everything. The main point is that we need to stop the mainstream from hypnotising people because we're all divided between each other, never mind divided between the people that follow the mainstream. So, like we've been talking a lot recently, that we all need to tone it down a little bit, even when people are insulting us. We need to try and address people with respect, even if they're being disrespectful to us, and explain that their reactions are programmed reactions, and that they wouldn't normally speak to us or anyone that they know, even people they don't like, they wouldn't normally react like the way they're doing, and try and point it out on a psychological level and see if we can lead by example, because when we lower our vibration to theirs, it really is counterproductive, and I think that's what the master plan is, to keep all us at each other rather than us healing each other and understanding that these people aren't really against us, they're just defending their beliefs.
And because we're heading towards this like exemplar of the most high, surely this higher vibration thing is actually what we're meant to be, So to stay in the trenches and be in that kind of fighting mindset, you'll never, achieve that. And that's not everyone's maybe meant to, but if that's what you're hoping for, then that's good advice.
In short and sweet, I'd say we're not going out to have arguments or debate beliefs. We're trying to inform people how to check for themselves, obviously ask them to compare results, but mainly we're going out there to make friends. People that have got open minds, we tend to have great conversations, we make connections, whether it's through social media or whatever, and we learn more about ourselves and about the world we're in. And I really recommend to everyone, get out there and do some activism, because talking about the titans to strangers and talking about mud floods to strangers makes them your friend if they find it interesting. So, it's better than just wasting all your time in virtual reality. Get out there and get back to the real life and make connections with people, because that's what we're supposed to be doing. That's what life's about,
It's going to come to that conversation anyway at some point. This is the thing, at some point you're going to have to talk to people, and at some point you're going to have to engage with people. There's no way around that. Otherwise, we're just going to be preaching to the choir all the time. So that can happen on a daily basis in a shop, amongst family members, friends, whatever. There's always somewhere, in my experience, an opportunity to drop a little hint or a little nugget and see where it takes you in a conversation. You know, so
leave the social media circus and
Yeah.
get out in the trenches or get out in the streets. You know, that's where it's at.
I think everybody can agree we all see too many families spending all the time on the mobile while they're at a dinner table. Well, don't do the same thing with the activism. There's no point sending out all memes and aggressive comments to people. We're better off spending our energy in the real world and trying to not have them arguments and like I say, just make some real connections. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying earlier that people can utilise whatever they're good at.
that's it. Yeah.
To get the message out. For me, it's music. For some people, it's activism on the street.
No, but your music is activism.
Yeah.
Your music helped wake me up. I heard some of the lyrics to the No Photos and I might get the names wrong, but deep down, I heard you like, what, a year and a half, 2 years ago?
2 years ago, I started doing this music.
And it was like, it gave me so much more confidence to say what I already had found, and your lyrics are full of data.
Yeah.
So it also helps, like I was saying, children learn things through music and lyrics, don't they? So I believe that you can help get the message through to deaf ears that would otherwise be deaf ears.
Yeah.
And I also believe you can help us remember some data because it does. It's magic, man. And I really think everyone can do activism in their own way.
That's what
Just try and keep it productive, because otherwise we're falling down that spiral, which is what they want. And online it's easy to get destructive, just like there's no empathy with texting like there is phoning your friend. Try and make it, deliver it well, you know.
But we're seeing more and more quality in the flat earth generally, you know, the game is getting raised, you know, the music is better, the editing is better, the research is better, you know, people are being called to this, but people with talents and skills that are being drawn out. And, you know, just like Lisa's singing, for example.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Also,
Lisa.
if you could,
We heard a lovely
Yeah.
song earlier.
Yeah, that's a talent.
Lisa
That needs
was,
to be called out.
I heard she can sing, yeah, apparently so.
I think they're priming you, Lisa.
Well, how about, didn't you say you had a song about flat earth?
I've got a bunch of songs about flat earth, yeah.
Do you make music?
Maybe you
like
could
that?
like just bring the mood up so Lisa gets confidence.
So Lisa gets her
I shall try if I can
palette
remember.
lubricated.
Let's press the
You've
button.
got lyrics there, Mike,
Let's press the button there. Should take it straight in there.
so you can sing along.
Well, it depends what song you want. Yeah, you got to sing. Yeah, you got to sing along the chorus. Otherwise, I'm just on my own here. Right.
A friend of mine once told me to do a search online. Search for photos of Earth, he said, because this will blow your mind. So I opened up the Google and I looked for photos of Earth. A lot of photos came up, he said, click on the first. He said, that's the famous blue marble that everybody's seen. We've seen this photo 1,000 times upon our TV screen. But let me tell you something about that famous shot. It's not a photo at all, man. It was made in Photoshop. Cause there ain't no photographs of Earth. Somebody tell me why. They're all just Photoshop cartoons. They're all just CGI. No photographic proof of a globe. Not at all. Why the hell can't no one take a photo of this ball? Well, man, he was right. Cause that did blow my mind. Cause I thought the blue marble was a photo all this time. Don't you think that's strange? He said suspiciously. The fact it ain't a photo seems pretty weird to me. I mean, the most important photo that man could ever take. This huge iconic image turns out to be a fake. I couldn't quite believe it, man. I was pretty shocked. I needed further proof that this photo's photoshopped. He said, look up Robert Simmons. He made that cartoon ball. He's the guy you should research. He works for NASA and all. He openly admits that it's all just artistry. He said, and I quote, it's photoshopped, but it has to be. There ain't no photographs of Earth, somebody tell me why. They're all just Photoshop cartoons, they're all just CGI. No photographic proof of a globe, none at all. Why the hell can't no one take a photo of this ball? Yep, every photo of the Earth is artist trickery. All the photos on Google, man, are as fake can be. Download all the photos, put them side by side. Compare all the continents, they're each a different size. Compare all the colors, each globe a different shape. If all of these were photos, man, they should surely look the same. Where's the continuity? There's none. No, none at all. All that NASA gives us is a bunch of cartoon balls. Cause there ain't no photographs of Earth, somebody tell me why. They're all just Photoshop cartoons, they're all just CGI. No photographic proof of the globe, none at all. Why the hell can't no one take a photo of this ball? Now we're supposed to have this telescope, right? That's flying past the stars, taking beautiful photos of Jupiter and Mars. Well, I've got a small suggestion, NASA. Here's something you should do. Point that thing at planet Earth and take a shot or two, because there surely should be thousands of photos of where we live. But Hubble ain't taken one. That's suspicious, don't you think? We got all these fancy pictures of spinning galaxies, but not one single photo of the Earth for us to see. There ain't no photographs of Earth, somebody tell me why. They're all just Photoshop cartoons, they're all just CGI. No photographic proof of a globe, none at all. Why the hell did no one take a photo of this ball?
I remember the words.
I hope you all enjoyed that. That was quite a treat.
I can't remember. I remembered all the words as well. That was a miracle. And I kept it clean as well, because the original song has got a couple of naughty words in it, but I should have realised that. Yeah, so I changed them now to be a little bit more family friendly.
Everybody loved it anyway. Keep getting loads of feedback here. That's why I'm
Nice.
looking at this. Trying to keep up
With the chat.
So there's
Very nice.
Awesome.
Very nice indeed.
Great.
This is a chat
Everybody's
for
watching and applauding and enjoying
Yeah.
it.
This is a treat for anyone in Flat Earth, whether or not you're into activism or not.
Yeah,
This is
absolutely.
just awesome.
Is yours some
What a
any,
treat.
naughty words, Lisa?
No.
No.
Lisa, do you have a song, do you? Oh, right. I saw you
What
furiously
was
swinging
that
water.
again? It was a remix or something, wasn't it?
I kind of let it again. If I
Okay.
can remember the words.
Go just let it out.
Yeah, let's give it a whirl. See what sticks.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water, and I think of all the lies we've been told. There's a figure I can picture.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
And
Alex.
nothing but...
Dave's gonna cry.
Absolutely, man. Everybody loves it.
Stop lying to me.
Stop lying.
Stop lying to me.
Yeah.
The most asked question was, is that Lisa?
Yeah.
Everyone loved it, seriously. Amazing. Lovely rendition.
You'll have to make the lyrics available to people.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Yeah, well, it's on. It is like there are several different versions of it.
There we
Where
go.
can they find them?
It was on one of the videos recently. The recent hangout.
Yeah, but I like the lyrics.
The lyrics, I think, I don't know. Well, it might be under one of the videos.
Okay, if not, what we'll have to do is put it in the description
But
of this video later or
I can
something.
figure it out later.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, we want to try and get all that music up on the Discord as well, so that people can just go straight to the music section, and then all things flat Earth or flat Earth related, connected, whatever. Alex, I make like links to him and get your stuff up there and things like that.
Yeah,
It's
I've
important,
just got a lot of things that I need
Poetry,
to
all that sort of stuff needs to go on there. So, well, we've already put some stuff up there from you anyway.
Because I'd love to see like everyone that goes and does karaoke to know the kind of lyrics so that they could do flat earth versions of their favourite songs in their local karaoke
Yeah, I
spot.
was thinking
That'd be
about
awesome. That could go viral, you know.
Yeah, I did
Really?
do open mics where I did my moon landing poetry.
Nice.
But I just thought the flat earth is too much for people.
I don't know. I mean, people love that song, for example.
Yeah.
So
It just
they
winds
can't.
people up too much.
Yeah, but they can't stop
Like,
you when
it's
you're
a
in the middle of the
moon
song,
landing
can they? They've got to wait till the end. At least you get your message through, and they're like, can't believe you just did that to our favourite song. And every time they hear that song, they're going to remember your little twist on it. So I recommend it to everyone out there. If you've got any remixed lyrics of any favourite songs, please send them in and we'll get Lisa to sing them. If you don't mind.
Leave it flat.
But yeah, let's make it viral. It could go awesome if everyone's starting to do that.
I was actually thinking about doing that anyway, and I was trying to encourage other people to
Good.
do that.
Let's do it.
What you got for us, music man?
Meanwhile, in Spain.
Wow.
It's very Spanish cool, don't it?
Oh, yes. Panatella.
I just did I'm recording a new album at the moment. It's an acoustic version of the Flat Earth Man album. So the original album, it's all like acoustic with percussion and that, and it's just completely different sounding. It's only because I'm preparing some stuff for an interview that I'm doing, and I wanted to do an acoustic live performance, and I thought that sounds really good. I'm going to make a whole album of that. And I did a Spanish version of the Flat Earth Man song, which is the
Well, I met a man the other day who thought the earth was flat.
that one, the very first song that I made. I did the Spanish version of that, and it's really weird. What did you think of it, Mike? Did you think it
I
worked?
liked it.
Did you?
Could we hear it?
No, it's on my phone. It's got even got the clapping in the chorus. It's even got that. I don't know if it works. I might put it as a bonus track on the album or something. You know.
That would be a good little twist.
Yeah. It's only because you're influenced by your surroundings, aren't you? I've got a couple of nylon Spanish guitars.
It would be nice for us to hear on it because it would remind us of this
Yeah.
in Spain as well, and a Spanish sounding sort of track to go with it. That would be like an homage to the Globebusters stop when you came to see us.
Yeah.
So,
You know what I mean?
what's your favourite song in acoustic?
Overall, or one of mine, you mean?
Your personal favourite version of the Flat Earth Man?
Oh.
What's your favourite track in acoustic?
Of my album, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, difficult because it's
Because they're all good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was pushed. I like satellite oaks acoustically because that's got some really nice little hammer on. That kind of that, but it just works really right.
Welcome to satellite host. Just another one of them NASA jokes. You can't find me a picture of a satellite without bringing up a bunch of that CGI. Just a bunch of cartoons all over the place. When I search satellites in space, yeah, type that phrase into Google, folks. Let me welcome you to satellite host.
It's got that kind of nice ridey sort of vibe to it.
Yeah, I like that one.
And I've put that into, I've got some bongos and that. When you listen to the acoustic, it's got a real nice sort of, almost reggae-like sort of sound to it. You know, so the songs have changed a little bit, but I'm looking forward to putting it out. It's the first time I've ever done an acoustic, because when you have to do an acoustic unplugged sessions album, you're limited to instruments that you can't plug in, so you have to use percussion, acoustic guitar, acoustic bass, an accordion, a mouth organ, a piano, and all these acoustics. And when you put that all together, and oh, that's really cool, you know. So yeah, it's all a learning curve.
That's cool. We're just broadcasting.
As the start has just turned up.
Say, where's my stuff?
Okay with that.
That's gone live across the Atlantic.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but I always wanted to be an astronaut. Yeah, cool. Yeah, me too, yeah.
The lyrics in there for that.
You gotta be.
Always wanted to be an astronaut. I would be a hero. At least that's what I thought.
I like that song. It's so simple. It's
Nice and quirky.
NASA HQ.
Is it in there? So it's probably.
What the name?
Always wanted to
Love it.
Always wanted to be an astronaut.
I'll be in space.
I can't remember the lyrics of that.
That's what I thought.
Oh, here it is. Bad. That's the nation.
God, you're gonna have to shout that alarm You make them big. Shit, dude. What have you done? What all of my lyrics up on my phone, dude.
I wanna know what love is.
Well, that's an old.
Nah, it's probably not the best song
Oh,
we do.
that's an old one.
It's so simple.
Yeah, but
Here, here. I'll be here.
That's what I thought. When I turned up at NASA HQ,
Good idea, though, right?
I couldn't
believe what it made me.
Yeah, don't ask me, man. Thought I'd go where a few men.
Thought I'd get to go where few men had ever been. But instead they put me in a studio, they just filmed me in front of a screen.
Yeah,
I always wanted to be an astronaut.
Best job in the world.
At least that's what I thought.
When I turned up at
NASA HQ, couldn't believe
what they made me.
Speaking to me, Mike.
We took out our hearts.
This happened to me, and I had to pretend that I was in zero gravity. I always wanted to be an astronaut.
I'd be on the ISS.
At least that's what I thought. But when I turned up at NASA HQ, I couldn't believe what they made me do.
They told me that the ISS
It was all in my head, and I'd be going on a zero-G plane instead. I always wanted to be an astronaut.
I'd get to go on a rocket.
Yeah, at least that's what I thought. But when I turned up at NASA HQ, I couldn't believe what they made me do.
I really
Wanted to travel in that super fast rocket, but that ship left the launch pad and there was no one on it. I always wanted to be an astronaut. I'll be in space. That's what I thought. When I turned up at NASA HQ, I couldn't believe what they made me do. They put me in a spacesuit, and I looked totally cool. But instead, they pushed me in the water, and they just threw me in a pool. I always loved space. I'll be a legend. At least that's what I thought. When I turned up at NASA HQ, I couldn't believe what they made me do. Instead of doing something good for humanity, they made me the biggest liar that there ever could be. I don't want to be an astronaut.
Yeah, brilliant. Nice one, I like that one. That's not that I don't like the other one.
It's so simple though. It's just 3 chords, you know. It's just I think if you're a flat earther, you understand all of that. It resonates with you, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. That's it.
Like the green screen stuff and the in the pool. They just pushed me in the water. It's like bloke who thought always wanted to be an astronaut. That's it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And he turns up to work and he finds it's all a lie.
Yeah. Well, that moment has to happen at some point, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. Imagine that.
When I was in 7th grade, I took 2nd place in an essay writing contest,
Wow.
and the topic was your hero, and mine was
Neil Armstrong.
well.
Wow. You never saw that video of the 3 of them when they just came back from the moon landings and they looked so...
Not as a kid,
Oh,
I wouldn't have understood
Guilty,
that very
yeah,
much.
you can look guilty of that.
Yeah.
No possible.
Yeah, the Russian vids always says you can't fake real, and these
Yeah.
guys were not real at all.
Yeah.
If we won the Formula One World Championship or some World Cup or something, let alone go to the moon, we'd be so elated.
Their
Yeah.
depression looked real,
Yeah.
and I sensed that Neil Armstrong, you know, he probably hated that moment more than any other moment in his life, and you know, I would guess he was threatened, or you know, his family or something. I mean, he does, you know, Buzz Aldrin. He looks like he kind of enjoys himself and gets off on the whole.
He has got a choice, has he? Really? He's just like,
He's just
okay, I'll
rolling.
just go along with it and get drunk and just enjoy the ride. I'm going to be in hell. That's the vibe I get from him.
Yeah, he's not too bothered, is he?
He's on that adrenaline.
He's not too bothered. I think Neil took it more personally. Look, check me out, Neil, as if I knew him. Like,
I
you
think
know.
Buzz is bothered. I think
It seems like he thought he might have actually been going. You know,
Yeah.
that was the feeling I
He
got.
looked at the disappointment on his
Yeah.
face in that press
Yeah.
conference was very telling, wasn't it?
Palpable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking inward, and he really didn't understand the world anymore.
But he had to have known, by the time his lunar lander wasn't working and they would go, oh, well, don't worry, it'll work when you get to the moon, he must have known that he was putting on a show by then. I mean, I like the idea that they only found out at the last minute.
Yeah, like they've shown Capricorn 1.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, you guys, we're actually not going this way. We're
because you
going
need
that
that
way."
plausible denial. You need that genuine expression when you're doing interviews.
Yeah.
They've got to believe that they're going right to the last minute.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How's it going, guys? You still about? Everything still alright there in the chat?
Yeah, I'm sure the chat's doing well and loving the opportunity to meet with you guys, hang out with you guys. It's a real change of pace for us, change of scenery, and a lovely location. So we're very grateful to Howard's parents for letting us use their place this evening.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So our reality is faked. What are we going to do about it?
I was thinking about all the people on the video, or that are watching live, and you know, the Discords are a wonderful way to have a sense of community, because watching even live videos, you can get in the chat a bit, but you know, some of the different Discord servers are a wonderful place to meet like-minded people. If you're new to the whole thing, there's a lot of people with a lot of knowledge, and you can learn from them, and they're patient. And you get the die-hard ballers on there that you know, are attempting to prove their ball,
You know what else I had this
which
idea?
is usually very entertaining.
I had this idea I wanted to throw out there for people who, you know, who are entrepreneurial. But if you were to start some kind of mud flood tours, or you know, these fossil tours and stuff like that, Tartaria tours and stuff in your city, then you might be able to draw a few people in, just because people.
Tours.com.
Yeah, people like to go on tours, you know, and if you've got a subject and you can you know, present it for a while, then you might be able to do something with that, and just spread the word. Because you know, if people go on holiday to say London, and they say, oh, let's find a tour, and you can advertise that you've got a tour running, and you know, people will come, and we can start spreading the word about these incredible things that are right in front of us that have been hidden in plain sight.
Have you looked at the mud flood thing, Alex? I'm still in the dark on that one because I don't know enough about
Yeah,
it.
a little bit. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of evidence there for it. That's all I can say. I've only sort of skimmed the surface. I think the timeline we've been given is completely false. I don't know. I think these mud floods were incredibly recent. I think as recent as like what's the magic? Is it 1812, somewhere around there?
Yeah, you could be right.
Yeah. I don't know, when you see building after building after building and they excavate below the building and there's a lot more, and you see that time and time and time again, and there's a hell of a lot to it. But you know, I'm only really looking into it at the surface level. I don't know too much about it, but yeah, or just by seeing that, I'm like, yeah, okay, there was a massive flood everywhere. You know, was it the biblical flood? I don't know. All I know at this stage is there was a massive mud flood, and there's loads of buildings that are submerged. How deep? I don't know. That's where I am with it.
Yeah, they're always finding things downwards, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it's sort of a bit telling.
Star forts are quite interesting as well, and
Fascinating.
there I know people that have mapped out 5,000 of them on every continent. They're all over, and they're
Mapped out
massive.
what,
They're
sorry?
massive star forts.
All right.
You're not familiar with the topic?
Not very.
It ties into Tartaria, into mud floods and star forts. They're all very kind of interlinked. But here, if it was daytime, we would be able to see it from where we are, looking that way. There's a beautiful mountain range called Sargent, and there's a star fort up there at 823 meters altitude. And the interesting thing about the star fort is that it's 2/3 buried in mud at 823 meters.
Yeah.
And when you look around, the area above it is all stone. So the question is, where did that mud come from? And if you look at this whole Alicante region, it's just rolling hills of all kinds of sandy, muddy type earth that just look like it kind of rolled in, it was deposited there, and then you have the mountains, which are made of stone. So there's a number of star forts. Well, Spain is just littered with star forts.
Yes.
And but that one's interesting.
Star forts can be like bigger than as big as towns. Like a whole town can be encompassed within them, and then some of them are really small.
Yeah. Yeah, they have these 4 pointers, which are kind of like the base model, and then they expand from there. And all of the major cities of the world appear to have been built around star forts.
Or, you know,
yeah, there are theories that there's cymatics, that they were possibly used for mining, that there's some kind of antiquitech there that they were making use of. They do. Each one is unique. They look like snowflakes. They're usually parked right near some important natural resource, whether it's a river or something for mining. The place to go for information about that would be like the tartarinova.com. That's a repository of a lot of information for that. Also, the YouTube channel UkTruth is that's a great place for videos on the topic.
Yeah, Andrea's
Flat Earth British does amazing stuff.
Yeah, Martin.
And Martin Lee.
I think he's in the chat actually, Martin.
Wise Up, John Levy. These are great channels. Wise Up, John Levy. Who else?
Shout out to Captain Kirk and Niven. These lads are always there doing that little bit. You know, it's great for people to be in Niven.
Yeah.
He got hold of my, Mount Meru in Africa has been a possible centre. He got hold of that and he did some good work for me on that. So that was cool for me. So yeah, we live in a crazy, crazy world, and who knows what we're going to discover. But we've got to keep all options on the table and keep looking at these evidences and celebrate the researchers that are, you know, putting in all these long hours. I applaud that. So we
There's
got
so much to learn,
yeah.
so much to discover,
Yeah, they truly are rabbit holes, aren't they? You know, you go down one and you...
and they all seem to link together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing's for certain for me is that it's all connected.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're all connected. It's all connected. You know, and that's why I think we have a desire to know. We have a desire to know what is our family tree, our heritage, our connection to all of this. And this journey from flat Earth upwards, onwards, is very much about trying to really rediscover the truth about who and what we are, because everything we've been fed is bullshit. And it all needs to be, you know, tossed out and reviewed and be willing to look at some of the craziest things, you know. I mean, just my suggestion earlier today that, you know, these giant beasts are ethereal beasts that became material through some kind of event, some cymatic event or whatever. You know, this is mad, you know, this is kind of science fiction stuff. You know, it would have been seemed like that for me a few years ago, but now I realize the possibility of things metaphysical way beyond. You know, the 99.5% of dark matter that science talks about, it's not dark, it's full of, you know, something incredible. We can't experience it while we're here.
Yeah, if you had told me 3 years ago that I would put out 3 hours of YouTube content on a mountain being an ancient fallen titan, I would have thought you were absolutely crazy. I would have never entertained the idea. But
Yeah.
here I
Here
am.
you are.
Here I am 3 years later, hanging out with this guy.
Crazy world.
Also with the music, if you'd have said to me 4 years ago, you'll be, you know, in 4 years' time, you'll know the Earth is, you'll believe the Earth is flat,
And you'll be a name. You know.
and you'll be making an album about flat. I'd be like, no, what are you talking about? Get out of here, man! But here I am, you know, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I love it, you know.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. It takes you places.
It does.
You know, I've been to Barcelona playing up there at a Flat Earth conference. I've been to Denver. I've done a year now. You know, and yeah, it takes you places. It's an amazing thing. It really is.
Yeah, you heard it. Alex is here. He was at Denver and stuff like that, but right now he's here
Yeah.
on the Globebusters tour.
I know it's a rock and roll, man.
You know, we're hopefully inspiring a whole new army of people who are going to go out there and do that bit of activism that makes a difference in your community. Never forgetting, you know, that you're the most important thing, like developing the soul and so on. Don't get lost in whatever it is, the rabbit holes. The rabbit holes can be never ending, and we can lose ourselves in them. Don't lose yourself.
And if you're in a place where it's like everything seems like darkness right now, and as you go down these different rabbit holes, there's some really dark ones that they're not fun to study. But you know, it's like you need to understand what's happening with those in order to make sense of the tapestry, the puzzle. You know.
Yeah.
But
To see
there's light at the end of the tunnel, because along with all the conspiracies are the prospiracies. There's the different things that you discover along the way that actually remove fear, and you start to realize a lot of what you're being fed is just fear porn. That you know, things that we get and we hear on a regular basis, they kind of, it's like the tiger loses its fangs with a lot of things. So it's not all doom and gloom.
Absolutely.
No, there's not. I think it's a very hopeful phase of my life, I've got to say. I see things far more positively than I did 3 years ago. You know, I got stuck in that 9/11 thing for a while. That sort of, if there were conspiracies type things going on, that was the one that occupied me the most. And then suddenly there was this flip. I never gave it a thought. I was never anti or pro. I just never gave it a thought. Really, it was a little bit.
Yeah. And I was also maybe looking out there a lot. You know, like I was looking to space and to things higher than us becoming, you know, apparent eventually with aliens and so forth.
But you're an insignificant speck of
Yeah,
dust.
it
It started from nothing.
Yeah, you know. So rather, so
And it'll go back to nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing will come of it.
It all exploded from nothing, right?
yeah, reset it.
Material Big Bang. It's true satanic mind control from the Freemasonic gang.
Yeah.
Yeah, but one of the other things that comes with this is a connection to empirical experience. Like, you know, so much of what we're fed is, it's all relative, you know. It's all how you think about things. That's what matters most. And there's truth to that in your life and how you interact with others. But there's also something concrete that you can look to and you can measure and you can observe and it's you don't have to rely on the high priests of scientism to tell you what truth is.
And you don't lose any of the wonder. You know, the wonder that we had about outer space is replaced with the wonder of this incredible universe or realm that we inhabit, and the nature of the purpose for us to be here. You know, it's given so much more gravity, dare I say, so much more. You know, it's given so much more import in who you are and what you're doing. Density. Yeah.
It makes you feel bored.
So, but yeah, don't get lost in staring at the beast, all the time, because that's what the beast wants. The way the beast wants you to stare at it all the time and give it your energy. Whereas it's about turning away from that and turning the energy inward and loving the self and then loving outward. Have you got any more tunage in there for us?
Yeah. Might be able to squeeze out one more, but sometimes the lag now.
And then, yeah, well, we'll let
It is
them
getting
go.
late.
We'll let them go, but maybe you can sing us out with unless anybody has anything
Hang on a second, Hal.
major to kind of add to the conversation tonight. We hope that you've enjoyed our little round table. We've had some fantastic conversations tonight and on the tour bus, and obviously we don't really get to give you a real sense of that, because once we turn the camera on, things are a little bit, different. But it's been fun. It's been extremely fun, and I hope that Jason and the team feel that this has been really good for the tour. Again, I am grateful to those people who've been able to make a contribution towards the tour. If you can, find your way to PayPal and send us enough for something for a coffee or something, some petrol.
Some petrol would be nice, yeah. Petrol's always good.
And once again, thanks very much to Alex and Mark
Yeah.
for giving us their time today. It's been a real
Pleasure,
honor.
pleasure, guys.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it, yeah.
It was a day well spent.
Yeah,
From my point of view.
well spent. All by Howard. So
Yeah. Big thank you to Howard for making this possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah. And hopefully this awesome music sort of session that we've had is people will share that and get encourage people to pay attention to the lyrics. The lyrics are fantastic, and the energy is palpable.
That's the idea. If activism can change, if we can change the image of activism from being debating and arguing to connecting with people and having a good time and a good conversation and being creative in different ways, poetically, musically, that's the way forward. It's not about fighting, it's being activism.
And having a good time, No gonna stop me now. I'm having such a good time. Woo! Just don't give me a ball.
There we go. So what's that song you were thinking to...
I'm going to play out with a tired song, which is, I don't want to talk about NASA because it's that time of the night, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that'll be a good one to finish on.
Nice one.
If I stumble, would you shout?
When I started talking about NASA, I lost all my friends. I don't wanna talk about that sir ever again. My friends don't understand me. I wish they would. I tried to tell them about that sir, but it don't do no good. No, I don't wanna talk about that sir ever again. 'Cause every time I talk about that sir, I'll lose another one of my friends. Every time I open my stupid mouth, something about the dancer comes flying out. No, I don't want to talk about that sir again.
That's a lie.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can tell people about that sir, but you can't make them think. Well, they look at me and they roll their eyes, and they shake their head. They believe the papers and the TV instead. No, I don't want to talk about that sir ever again. 'Cause every time I talk about that sir, I'll lose another one of my friends. There he goes there every time I open my stupid mouth. Something about the dancer comes flying out. So I ain't gonna talk about that sir again. 'Cause I just want my friends to know all of NASA's lies. I hope one day my friends wake up and they realize. But I feel like I'm banging my head on the wall every single time. If I just got me a bunch of new friends, then I would be doing fine. Let me just sing, I don't wanna talk about that sir ever again. 'Cause every time I talk about that sir, I'll lose another one of my friends. Every time I open my stupid mouth, something about NASA comes flying out. No, I don't want to talk about NASA again. Listen up. So I went down to the local bar to meet me a bunch of new friends. Well, I had myself just a couple of beers and started talking about NASA again. Well, things got kind of ugly, and I was punched to the floor. No, I don't want to talk about NASA no more. One more time, people. No, I don't want to talk about NASA ever again. 'Cause every time I talk about NASA, I lose another one of my friends. There he goes, every time I open my stupid mouth, something about NASA comes flying out. No, I don't want to talk about NASA ever
Cheers, man.
That was really cool. That was really cool. Thanks, guys.
That one always goes down well.
Yeah, that went really well.
So we can all resonate with that, can't we?
Yeah. Thanks, Alex.
Night, guys.
What a treat.